Okay, this is lesson 1.7 in Introduction to Functions. When we finish, I want you to be able to identify a function, domain, input, range, output, dependent variable, independent variable, and I also want you to determine if the given table is a function. So first, let's talk about what a function is. In order for a relationship to be a function, it must be true for each input that there is exactly one output. Okay, now let's look at these two tables and determine if each of these are functions or not. So for this one, I have an input of 1, an output of 3, 2, 4, 3, 5, 4, 6. So for each input, there was only one output. Let's look at the next one. If my input is 1, my output is 3. If my input is 1, my output is 4. If my input is 2, my output is 5. If my input is 2, my output is 6. Uh-oh, now 1 has two outputs, and 2 has two outputs. So this one is not a function. Okay, now the input values are called the domain. So the domain of this function that we're looking at would be the points 1, 2, 3, and 4. Another name for input would be the, we commonly think of it as the x values. What about the range? The range and the output are the same. So this one, the range would be 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, now let's take a look. You're at an altitude of 250 feet in a hot air balloon. You turn on the burner and rise at a rate of 20 feet per minute for 5 minutes. Your altitude, h, after you've risen for t minutes is given by the function h is equal to 250 plus 20t. Now notice where this equation comes from. You're at 250 feet. And then you're going to raise 20 feet per minute. So this is the 20 feet times your time in minutes. Okay, so let's see what's going to happen when we plug in these different values. Now let's say our input is 0. No time has passed. So I'm going to evaluate the function. So h is equal to 250 plus 20 times 0. Well, 20 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 250 is 250. Let's do the same thing for 1. h is equal to 250 plus 20 times 1. That's 20. 20 plus 250 gives me 270. Now that you see how the process works, I want you to hit pause and I want you to complete the rest of the table and resume the video when you're done. So notice the changes. Now notice my input is time in minutes. So my output is 250, 270. At 2 minutes it's 290. At 3 it's 310. At 4 it's 330. And at 5 it is 350. So now let's take a moment and let's graph this and see what we end up with. I'm going to use orange so you can see it. So at time 0, and I put seconds and it should be minutes, it'll be at 250. So that's just the height the balloon was cruising at. Then 1 minute after the burner was on, he was up to 270. At 2 minutes, 290. At 3, it's at 310. 4, we were at 330. And at 5, we were at 350. Now, what is the domain? Well, the domain would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now what's the range? The range of this graph is 250 to 350. And that's all we have for today.